All right. So we want to tell you or have you ask yourself the question, is it worth it? I grew up with 7 siblings in a very modest upbringing. We never took a family vacation. I didn't even know family vacations existed. We would drive the local highways on Sundays, picking up aluminum cans in the ditch, and that was fun. My dad was a self-employed carpenter who never finished high school, but he insisted that all 8 of his kids get a college degree so you could get a good job with a big company, lots of benefits. And Jim grew up with a family that was running their own business, but it was in the farm equipment, and unfortunately the economy was not nice to that business, so the family ended up losing it. Jim's dad was introduced to this company by a friend, and of course then he talked to Jim about it. And when I met Jim, he was such a disruption to my family because he didn't graduate from college. He worked for this company called A.L. Williams, which was not a 9-to-5 job. He had no benefits. Sunday dinner was sacred in my house, and he left at about 3 o'clock saying, we gotta get to the office for Sunday night call blitzes with his team. And he mostly worked nights and weekends, which were times I typically spent with my family. He wanted to be somebody in the worst way, and my family thought we were crazy. They were like, what have you gotten yourself into? However, a few years later, I was the one that my family would call and say, hey, can you babysit? I have a problem I need to go take care of, and I need someone to watch the kids. Or because they knew I had the flexibility. We were the ones that took my mom on several vacations and trips just because we could. And we were the ones that they call upon when they need some help in their life. This company has taken me to places that I would have never dreamed of as a child. I mean, we've been a lot of different places. I met the founders of this business, Art and Angela Williams, 3 months after meeting Jim, and it locked me into this business. The life we have today is so incredible, and the things we can do, the places we go, it's so worth it. But some keys to our success and how we got there. We worked really hard from 1986 till 1997. I mean, like really hard. And we showed up to every meeting, big or small. The hours we spent driving, we either listened to a successful speaker, or Jim would say, pull out a notebook. And we would list each other's strengths, and we would talk about it, and we would figure out how we could get better at running our business. We always closed $5,000 a month and 4 recruits personally for years to build the consistency and momentum that was needed to keep our business and run it over the top. Jim always was a big picture thinker, and he taught me how to work with him using our strengths. He taught me how to work with him. That was really important. So has it been worth it? Today we have over $1 billion in face amount. We've paid over $25 million in death claims. We have over $154 million in assets under management. And our business has paid us roughly $6 million so far. Jim Martinson.
Thank you. Unbelievable. Has it been worth it? See, a lot of how-tos have been talked about today, but why? What does freedom look like to us? Well, Julie told you from age 24 to 37, I worked my tail off. I was out in the field. I did do things away from the family. But I want to start this talk with this, with faith. It's not worth it if God isn't in it. We've heard that a few times today, right? And 2 of the most powerful verses that continue to serve me well are these 2 right here. 1 Timothy 5:8. You see, I had to do some research on this, so I joined a class in our church for 6 weeks, and then I led classes. And this verse struck me as the most powerful verse that we should all use in Primerica. And it was 1 Timothy 5:8, when I need a reminder that I do what's right, that we're involved in a crusade, we're involved in changing people's lives. He says, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Wow. That continues to serve me well. And the second verse, Philippians 4:13, when I need a reminder that there are no limits, is that I can do all things, not some things, all, to him who gives me strength. Community. Look what I've been able to do. I mean, listen, this is our story. This was important to me. These were some of my dreams and why I worked hard. I was just recently involved for 14 years in an organization called the Pewaukee Scholarship Fund, and I participated this year handing out our millionth dollar in scholarships to very deserving high school graduates. Man, does that feel good. I'm involved in a program in our high school community called Insight. I got to participate, and still do, in a unique off-campus training and mentoring program at our local high school that allows high school students to be connected to local companies and business owners to give them insight as to what it may look like to work in a field. I continue to mentor juniors and seniors one-on-one through that program. When we started that program in our city, there was like 17 people the first year, and now there's about 130 kids in that program. It's amazing. But I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for Primerica. Look at this. Family has always been important to me. It started from my father, from my parents starting the biz, to my girlfriend, who eventually became my wife, Julie, and being there for all three of our kids. This is amazing to me. Nick, who's 22 years old, did baseball, wrestling, football, track, golf. I volunteered in every single classroom that he was all the way through 6th grade. Coached his Little League baseball through 8th grade. Attended every game, every match, every event. Our life was a little different because from 24 to 37, we didn't have kids. That's when I worked hard. And so when we had kids, we were financially set. Listen, I loved him in the hurt and in the good. I've had the opportunity to travel with him, coach him, and be a dad to him, and I still do that today. Heather, beautiful 20-year-old. Art, cheerleading, fundraising, coaching, leading. From the day she was born, I volunteered in all of her classrooms, attended every cheer event, took her fundraising one-on-one. I got to spend time with her and teach her the sales business. I've had the opportunity to travel with her, but most of all, I've been able to fatherhood. And then our little guy, Grant, if you can't tell in the pictures, he's 10 years old today. He was born with Down syndrome. In the top left-hand picture is a picture of him in ICU for several days. We didn't know what was going to happen. He had heart issues and things like that. But because God sent us this very special child, it's been a very different story with him. With Grant, it's about what I've learned as a person and who I'm becoming because I've gotten so much time with him because of the freedom that Primerica has given us. It's amazing. Fun. Is it worth the price? These are just a small sampling of all the trips we've been to: San Francisco, Naples, Hawaii, Disney several times, Bahamas, San Diego. We estimate that we've been on something like 80 trips paid for by Primerica. Is it worth the price? We've had the blessing to take our team on trips: cruises, Branson, Gatlinburg, Destin, Mackinac Island. Amazing. It's been a blast. You see, you got to remember what you're fighting for. It's about money and time. Freedom of money and freedom of time. A job will never give you both. I know people that got time, they got no money. I know people got money, got no time. Primerica gave us both. Julie wants me to remind you, though, remember you got to pay the price first and then play. And just to be clear, we're not done yet. We're just getting started, all right? So lastly, God's got a plan for you. Own it, pursue it with everything in you, and always remember that the God we serve is a God of clarity, not a God of confusion. If it's not clear after you leave here today, it's not God. In the end, this is about you. You deserve it. Go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna take my horse through the